Before every Isle of Man TT, John McGuinness does the same thing. He washes the cars. He mows the lawn. He puts the finances straight. Not because he is superstitious, not because it calms the nerves, because he might not come back. He once put it simply: the cars get washed. The lawn gets mowed. The finances get sorted, because you never know. 23 victories, 30 years on the mountain course, 37 miles of public road, stone walls, telegraph poles, no barriers. More than 260 riders have died here since 1907. And before every single race, the most successful living rider on this island cuts his grass like a man settling his affairs for the last time. Why? Because of another man. Faster, more famous, more loved, and he never won a single TT race. 2004. A mechanic from Grimsby turns up on the mountain course for the first time. Guy Martin. Flat cap. Wild hair that never quite fits under a helmet. A voice that talks faster than most people can follow. He becomes the first newcomer to lap the course above 120 miles per hour. Over the years that follow, he stands on the TT podium 17 times. He never once stands on the top step. They call him the fastest man never to win the TT. And here is where the two philosophies split. Short-circuit racing, Martin would say, is full of health and safety. But the reason he rides a motorbike is the danger. There is no place more dangerous than the TT. McGuinness heard that, and he answered it directly. You hear Guy Martin saying the danger is a buzz, he said. But he doesn't do it because it's dangerous. He wants to be safe. For him, the buzz comes from taking part, the challenge, the winning. Near-death experiences don't give him a buzz. They just worry him. Two men, same 37 miles of road. One rides toward the danger. One rides past it. Martin respected McGuinness. He called him the man. Said he had massive respect for him. But respect is not the same as listening. The world chose Martin. Wild hair, burning bikes. A documentary called Closer to the Edge that made $2 million at the UK box office and turned him into the face of the TT for people who had never heard of the mountain course. McGuinness never got that film. McGuinness never warned anyone with words. He warned them by coming home. Every year he survived was proof you did not need to love the danger to beat it. You only needed to respect it. Nobody filmed the man who came home. They filmed the one who burned. In 2017, Honda would put both of them in the same garage, same bike, same race. Neither one would walk away from that year unchanged. 2010. The senior TT. Guy Martin is fighting for the lead. Lap 3. He has just pitted, tank full to the brim. Ahead of him is Ballagharay, one of the fastest corners on the mountain course. Riders take it at close to 190 miles per hour, dropping toward 170 as they crest a blind rise into the turn. One day earlier, at that exact corner, a rider named Paul Dobbs was killed. Martin loses the front. The bike hits the wall. The full tank ruptures. The bike goes up in flames. For the first time in more than a century of senior TT racing, the red flag comes out. A rider just behind him, Keith Amor, would later describe cresting the rise and seeing a puff of smoke rising into the air, marshals already running toward it. The relief only came once he reached the corner and saw Martin trying to crawl toward the side of the road. Martin survives. Bruised lungs, small fractures in his spine. From a hospital bed, cup of tea in hand, he looks at the camera and puts it plainly. Part of the game, he says. Everybody knows the risks. Nobody makes anybody do this. Put him in that position again, and he would do exactly the same thing. That is Guy Martin at this point in the story. No regret, no fear. The danger was the reason he rode, and the crash was only proof he was doing it right. The documentary built around that year, Closer to the Edge, became a hit. $2 million at the UK box office. Martin became an international star. The world had found exactly the kind of hero it wanted. McGuinness was there too. He saw the smoke. He knew Dobbs had died at that same corner less than a day before. When the race restarted, McGuinness got back on his bike. Same corner, same wall, same speed. He said nothing to the cameras. He just raced. And he went home. That was the warning. Quiet, unremarkable, easy to miss. Nobody was filming him. Nobody ever does. November 2007. Guy Martin goes to a wedding. The groom is Martin Finnegan, his best mate in racing. Nobody else from the racing world gets an invite. Just Guy and his girlfriend. The funeral comes the following May. 6 months. That's how fast this sport can take someone. Finnegan isn't the exception. He's the rule. More than 260 riders have died on the mountain course. Not over 100 years, since anyone started counting. In 2022 alone, 6 riders died in a single week of racing. McGuinness knows this list. He carries it with him. He'd lost a lot of friends to this sport, he once said. People no longer with them. He said he would never forget them. This is why he mows the lawn. It was never superstition. He is not warding off bad luck with a lawnmower. He is accounting for the possibility that his name joins that list. He is making sure that if he doesn't come home, the grass is cut, the car is washed, the money is sorted for the people he leaves behind. Martin's body, meanwhile, starts sending its own bill. 2015. The Dundrod 150, Ulster Grand Prix. Martin is leading the superbike race. Final lap. Ireland's corner. 130 miles per hour. He loses control. 5 broken vertebrae. A broken sternum. Broken ribs. Surgery to rod his spine back together. His back was full of metal, he'd joke afterward. So were his hands and his legs. He'd have to decide who got all that in his will. Probably worth a fortune in scrap metal, he still jokes. But bones don't joke back. That same year, on that same mountain course, McGuinness sets the outright lap record. 132.701 miles per hour. He receives the Segrave Trophy, an award for outstanding skill, courage, and initiative. His name joins Joey Dunlop, Barry Sheene, Jeff Duke. He always told himself he would only push to his level, he said. Once he was there, that was it. He couldn't go any faster. Martin only had one speed. Maximum. And the mountain course always collects from the ones who only have one speed. Then, in 2017, Honda put both men in the same garage. Same bike. Same track. The first time. And the last. January 2017. Honda Racing announces its dream team. McGuinness and Martin, together, riding the new Honda CBR 1000RR Fireblade SP2. The press calls it the biggest story in road racing that year. Fans can barely believe it. Martin returns after almost 2 years away. His spine still carrying the steel from Dundrod. He didn't want to grow old regretting never giving the Honda a go, he said. Then, everything falls apart. At the Northwest 200, McGuinness crashes in practice. A fault in the electronics sends the bike accelerating without warning. He breaks vertebrae, breaks ribs, shatters the tibia and fibula in his right leg so badly that surgeons remove 50 millimeters of bone. His leg stays locked in an external frame for 10 months. At the TT, Martin crashes on the opening lap of the superbike race, at Doran's Bend. He pulls out of the senior TT. The TT was a bloody disaster, he said afterward. A few weeks later, he tells a reporter something quieter. Racing's been good to him, he says, but he's bored of it. It's like Groundhog Day. Time to stop. Bored sounds small, but this is a man who once said the reason he rode was the danger itself. When the only thing that ever made him feel alive starts to feel like Groundhog Day, that isn't boredom, that's a body finally admitting it has nothing left to give. 2017 proves the mountain course collects from everyone. It does not care which philosophy you follow. But afterward, the two paths split for good. McGuinness, leg rebuilt, comes back. Classic TT in 2018. Then a full TT. Then every year after that. He still doesn't know when he'll stop, he said years later. He just hopes he'll know when the time is right. Martin never returns to the mountain course. Going back just because it's what he used to do and he was sort of all right at it, isn't a good enough reason to race the TT, he'd write. McGuinness once said he hoped the devil on his shoulder would be man enough to tell him when to stop, rather than letting an injury make that choice for him. Martin let the injury decide. McGuinness never has. 2026. McGuinness is 54 years old. 30 years on the mountain course. He has just ridden the fastest 6-lap race of his career, averaging 129.497 miles per hour. 5th place, still inside the top 5, still on the bike. Martin is 44. He fixes trucks. He makes television. He rides bicycles. He chases speed records on machines that were never built for racing. He does everything except go back to the mountain course. He once admitted that everything he does now is just trying to replicate the buzz he got from road racing. Nothing comes close, he said. For the first time, he isn't joking. He doesn't say it's part of the game. He doesn't say if you think it's too dangerous, go home and cut your lawn. He just admits it. Nothing replaces it. Here is the score: 23 wins against 0, 30 years against 13, still racing against retired. A spine, still whole, against a spine full of steel. So why does McGuinness mow the lawn? Not superstition. Not really respect for danger either. He mows the lawn because if he doesn't come home, the grass will already be cut, the car already washed, the money already sorted for the people he leaves behind. That isn't courage. That's love. It's something Martin, the man who rode for the danger itself, never put into the equation. McGuinness never warned anyone with a loud voice. He never went on television to say Martin was wrong. He just mowed the lawn. Then he raced. Then he went home. 30 years, one after another, he mowed the lawn. That was the warning. Nobody listened. This was never just about 2 men. It was about every rider who ever stood at the start line on Glen Crutchery Road and had to choose how they would come back.